Hello, my friends, and welcome to Slow Simple English. This channel is for people who want to learn English in a calm and simple way, step by step, without stress. My name is Andrew, and in these episodes, I speak slowly and clearly so you can relax, listen, and really understand. If you feel confused about learning English, or if you feel stuck and tired after many years of study, this episode is for you. Many people learn English for a long time, but they are never shown how to practice in a simple and natural way. And because of that, they feel frustrated and lost. Today, I want to show you a calm and realistic way to practice English every day, even if you are busy and even if you feel tired. You do not need to study for hours. You do not need to be perfect. You only need a simple method and a little patience. So please get comfortable, take a breath, listen carefully, and let's begin. Many people want to learn English, and they usually start with hope and motivation. At the beginning, everything feels good. New words feel interesting, new videos feel exciting, and new plans make you believe that this time it will really work. But after some time, something changes, and English starts to feel more difficult than before. It begins to feel heavy and confusing, and slowly you start to feel tired and frustrated. You may start to think that you are not good at languages, or that your English is too bad, or even that you will never speak English well. But this is very important to understand. The real problem is not you. The real problem is the way most people learn English. Many learners try to do too much and move too fast. They study long lists of words. They focus on many grammar rules, and they try to understand everything at the same time. This creates a lot of pressure, and pressure slowly kills motivation. Learning English should not feel like a test or an exam. It should feel possible, calm, and realistic. If learning English feels too hard, too stressful, or too tiring, something is wrong with the method, not with you. And this is the main reason why so many people stop learning English. Now, I want to tell you something very important. Learning English does not need to be difficult, and it does not need to feel stressful or painful. Many people believe that learning English must be hard, but this idea is not true, and it often makes learning slower instead of faster. You do not need to study all day, and you do not need to push yourself until you feel tired and frustrated. You also do not need to be perfect, and you do not need to know everything before you start speaking. English is not just information that you memorize. English is a skill, and every skill grows slowly with practice. When you practice a skill, it works best when the practice is calm, simple, and regular. Think about how you learned to walk when you were a child. You did not learn to walk in one day, and you did not stop because you fell many times. You continued, step by step, and slowly your body learned what to do. Learning English works in the same way. You learn English by listening again and again, by repeating simple sentences, and by understanding easy ideas before difficult ones. You do not learn English by pressure, and you do not learn English by fear. When learning feels calm and safe, your brain works better, and understanding comes more naturally. That is why slow English works so well for many learners, and that is why simple English is so powerful. This episode is important because today you are not learning more English words or grammar. Today, you are learning how to learn English in a better and calmer way. And when you change the way you learn, everything else slowly starts to change as well. Daily practice is one of the most important parts of learning English. Many people believe that they need a lot of time to learn a language, but in reality, small daily practice works much better than long study sessions once in a while. 10 minutes every day is often more effective than 2 hours once a week. This is because your brain likes regular contact, and it learns best when something feels familiar and routine. When you practice English every day, English starts to feel normal instead of strange. Words sound more familiar, sentences feel easier to understand, and you stop feeling lost so often. Daily practice also helps you remember more because your brain does not have time to forget everything. Another important thing is confidence. When you practice a little every day, you start to trust yourself more, and English feels less scary. You begin to feel that English is something you can handle, even if you are still a beginner. Daily practice does not need to be long or difficult. It only needs to be regular and calm. When English becomes part of your daily routine, learning feels lighter and more natural. Daily practice sounds simple, but many people still ask one important question. What does daily practice really look like in real life? Now, let me show you a very simple daily English routine that you can use in real life. This routine is especially good for A1 and A2 learners because it is calm, realistic, and easy to follow. You do not need many materials, and you do not need a teacher or a complicated plan. All you really need is a little time, some patience, and regular contact with English. This routine has 3 simple parts, and together they help your English grow naturally. The first part of the routine is listening. Listening is always the starting point because your brain needs to hear English many times before it can use it comfortably. You should listen to English that is slow, clear, and easy to understand so your brain can relax while learning. You can listen in many simple moments during the day, like in the morning, while walking, while cooking, or before you go to sleep. When you listen, you do not need to translate every word or understand everything perfectly. It is enough to listen and let your brain get used to the sounds and rhythm of English. The second part of the routine is repeating. Repeating helps your mouth, your brain, and your confidence work together. When you repeat sentences out loud, English starts to feel more natural in your body, not only in your head. You should repeat short and clear sentences, and you should repeat them slowly, without pressure. You do not need to sound perfect, you only need to be active and present. The third part of the routine is understanding meaning. Understanding meaning is more important than understanding every single word or grammar rule. You can ask yourself simple questions, like what this is about, or if it is about daily life, work, or a simple situation. When you understand the idea, your brain learns faster and with less stress. This routine is simple, but very powerful when you use it regularly. And now, there is one more important question that many learners ask. How long should you practice English every day? Many people ask the same question when they start learning English. They ask how long they should practice English every day in order to make progress. The answer is actually quite simple, and it is often very different from what people expect. You should practice English for as long as you can without feeling stress, pressure, or strong tiredness. For many learners, 10 minutes a day is already enough to help the brain stay connected to English. 15 minutes a day is very good, and 20 minutes a day is excellent if you feel comfortable with it. But more time is not always better, especially if it makes you feel exhausted or frustrated. What really matters is not the number of minutes, but how often you come back to English. Consistency is much more important than long study sessions. Your brain learns better from short, regular contact than from rare and intense effort. When English becomes part of your daily rhythm, learning feels lighter and more natural. Time is important, but there is another important part of practice that many learners forget. The way you speak also matters, especially at the beginning. So now, let's talk about why short and simple sentences are so powerful for learning English. Many learners believe that they must speak English using long and complicated sentences. They think that long sentences sound better and that long sentences sound more intelligent. But in real life, this is not true, especially at the beginning. Long sentences are difficult to control, and they often create stress while you are speaking. When you try to say too much at the same time, you start to forget words, you make more mistakes, and you feel nervous. Because of this, many learners stop speaking English, even when they understand a lot. Short sentences work in a very different way. They are easier to control, clearer to understand, and much safer to use. When you use short and simple sentences, you feel more relaxed, and your mind has more space to think. For example, you can say simple things like, I am tired, I am hungry, or I am at home. These sentences are simple, but they are real English, and native speakers use sentences like this every day. They use them at work, at home, and when they talk with friends. You do not need difficult grammar, and you do not need special or advanced words. What you really need is clear meaning. When you use short sentences, you feel safer while speaking, and you start to feel more confident. Confidence helps you speak more, and speaking more helps you learn faster. Simple English is not bad English. Simple English is strong English. Short sentences help you speak more comfortably, but there is still one more important problem that many learners have. That problem is translation. Many English learners have one very common habit that makes speaking much harder than it needs to be. They translate in their head. First, they think in their own language, and then they try to change those thoughts into English. This feels safe at first because it feels familiar, but in reality, it makes speaking very slow and very tiring. When you translate every sentence, your brain works too hard, and after some time, you start to feel tired, nervous, and less confident. Instead of translating, it is much better to focus on understanding meaning. English words are not just words. They are ideas, pictures, and situations. For example, when you hear the word coffee, do not think about the word in your own language. Think about the drink, the smell, and the taste. When you hear the word home, think about your place, your room, or your bed. This is how children learn languages. They do not translate words. They connect words directly to life. You can learn English in the same way, even as an adult. Listening helps a lot here, especially when you listen again and again to simple English. Over time, your brain starts to understand automatically without translating every sentence. You do not need to force this process, and you do not need to hurry. Little by little, English starts to feel more natural, and you stop thinking so much while listening or speaking. Understanding becomes easier, and confidence slowly grows. When you stop translating, something important changes. You start to feel more free when you speak, but there is still one more thing that many learners worry about. They worry about making mistakes. Many learners worry a lot about making mistakes when they speak English. They think that mistakes mean they are bad at English, or that people will judge them when they say something wrong. But mistakes are completely normal, and they are a natural part of learning any language. Everyone makes mistakes. Children make mistakes when they learn to speak, and even native speakers make mistakes every day. This is not a problem. This is how learning works. Mistakes do not mean that you are failing. They mean that you are trying, and that you are learning something new. Many learners stop speaking English, not because they cannot speak, but because they are afraid of mistakes. They worry that people will laugh, or that people will think they are not smart. But in real life, most people do not care about your mistakes. They only want to understand what you are saying. If people understand you, then you are already doing a good job. English is not about being perfect. English is about communication. The best way to learn communication is to use English as part of your daily life, not only in special lessons or exercises. You do not need special situations to practice English. Your normal life is already enough. You can practice English by talking about simple things that you do every day. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you can quietly say things like, "I am waking up," "I am tired," or "I need coffee." When you are at home, you can describe what you are doing. You can say that you are cooking, cleaning, or watching a video. When you go outside, you can talk about your actions in simple English. You can say that you are going to work, waiting for the bus, or walking to the store. These sentences are simple, but they are real, and real English is the best English to practice. You can talk to yourself, think in English, and describe what you see around you. This may feel strange at first, but it is actually very good practice. Little by little, English stops being something separate from your life. It becomes something natural, something familiar, and something you can use without fear. Now you understand how to practice English and how to think about learning in a healthier way. So now, let me tell you how this channel will help you continue. Before we finish this episode, I want to tell you something important about this channel. Slow Simple English is not here to rush you, and it is not here to pressure you or make you feel bad. This channel exists to help you feel calm, comfortable, and more confident with English. On this channel, you will hear English that is spoken slowly, clearly, and in a simple and natural way. I speak like this on purpose because understanding is more important than speed. You do not need to understand every word, and you do not need to stop the video all the time. You can simply listen and let English slowly become familiar. You can listen while resting, while walking, or while doing simple things in your day. This channel is made for real life, not for tests or exams. If you listen to these episodes regularly, you will start to notice small changes. English will begin to sound more normal, sentences will feel easier to understand, and you will think less while listening. This does not happen in one day. It happens slowly, step by step, and that is completely okay. You do not need to be fast. You only need to be consistent. If you come back to English often, it will slowly become easier and more natural. And I will be here to help you along the way. Before you go, I want to tell you this. You are doing a good job. Learning a language takes time, and the fact that you are here, listening, really matters. If this episode helped you feel calmer, or if it helped you understand something new, you can leave a like on this video. It really helps the channel, and it tells me that this content is useful for you. If you would like to continue learning together, you can subscribe to Slow Simple English. New episodes are coming with more listening, more simple English, and more confidence. Thank you for listening today. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.